Hello beautiful souls, it's Kerry and today I'm talking astrology. We're about 12 hours away from an eclipse at the 21st degree of Leo when I'm making this recording. And this degree, the Sabian symbol for this degree, is about being lost in your senses through either dizziness, intoxication, or just escaping from reality. And so there's a sense of perhaps zoning out during this period. There's two important things going on as well. Pluto and Mars, which are like the planets of war, they are in an inconjunct aspect, which is a stressful aspect, and they're both out of bounds. When planets are out of bounds, they don't behave in the normal way. So we're going to see people who are working outside of the normal rules of engagement. Let's just put it that way. We have Pluto opposite Mercury in Leo, and we have Pluto opposite Jupiter also in Leo. So we've got a big stellium here in Leo, and if you look at it here, you'll see that Jupiter is actually, this eclipse actually falls on the midpoint of Jupiter and the South Node. So what I'm going to say about this is it's almost like people have already made their choice about what vibrational wavelength they're on moving forward, because this is the future for humanity. It's not just going to be about where you are, say, on a social scale, which is very earthly, where people crave positions of power and prestige and fancy houses, etc. Moving forward energetically, it's going to be what wavelength are you on. And those who are on the lower wavelengths of fear and hatred and domination and control, they will gravitate into the wavelengths where those experiences are around them. The people that are coming up from a place of love, joy, peace, happiness, unity, they will be the people who will be elevated to have experiences that reflect those wavelengths. So things are changing, darlings. The world is not always going to be the way it once was. So I'll just hold the chart up there so you can see it. So we have this big stellium here in the sign of Leo. Leo is about the sovereign. It's about our sense of I am. So it's about the sovereignty you have over your own body as a soul. And it's about your sense of being your own king or queen, as in, when we think about the corona or the crown chakra, this was given the name of the virus when everyone's sovereignty was, what should we say, it was challenged. People had to stand up for their own rights during recent events in history. I can't say too much because you know what happens. But there's still some positive things going on. We've got a grand trine going on between the planet Venus, the planet of love, which is in Libra. So this is about harmony and relationships, and it's in a trine aspect to Uranus and Gemini there, and Pluto in Aquarius. So we'd be looking at the principle of the higher mind. So if you're really struggling at the moment, it's time to hand your troubles over to God and to bring yourself back into that place of peace and tranquility. And the Sabian symbol for this degree is in domesticated birds that are intoxicated, flapping around. So it's really about people losing touch with reality or wanting to zone out because they don't like what they're seeing or what they're experiencing. They don't like the feeling of the reality that's around them in the physical body. So it can be a point where there's issues with drugs or alcohol or addiction of some sort. So that's a struggle, that's a challenge. You can cast out any spirit of addiction or any spirit of domination, alcoholism, drug addiction, control, any of those spirits that take possession of people's, what should we say, their own agency and sovereignty over their life. You can cast those out. And if you cast them out by the blood of Jesus, you repeat that 3 times, it's a very powerful prayer. Also, bring in Archangel Michael around your energy fields. You can ask for a legion of angels to surround your energy fields, the energy fields of your family and your business, whatever it is that's important for you in your life. So darlings, it could, you could kind of get a little bit frightened if you chose to about this eclipse, but really that's not operating from the higher mind. We need to let things play out. Eclipses last 3 to 6 months, the influence of them, and so we're going to see, I would say, we're going to see continued unrest in those Middle Eastern areas, and it is also impacting on the ascendant of the chart for Ireland. I happened to have a look at that while I was looking up the 21st degree of Leo. So some countries will be more affected than others. There's a couple of African nations as well. But, just to get the gist of it, we're going through a time of great transition. Nothing to be frightened about unless you're in a place of fear, hatred, war, domination. Try to stay out of the things you have no control over, like whatever's going on out there in the outside world. One thing we do have control over is how we respond to it, and also our energy. So try to focus on things you love, try to be around people that you love, and focus also on the majesty and beauty of life. Sit in the garden and listen to the birds. Look at a flower and just marvel at that. Bring yourself into the microcosm and let whatever's going out there in the macrocosm take care of itself, because there is a lot going on we have no control over. So darlings, I hope you found that useful. So in Adelaide, the eclipse takes place on the 13th of August, and that's at 3:06 a.m. So you need to adjust that for wherever you are in the world. But basically, I think it's probably going to be on the 13th of August for most of the world, just because it's so early in the morning here. So I would say we just add, 9.5 or 10.5 hours for UK time. So we'd be looking at, early, mid-morning kind of time. And I also wanted to say that the nodes are now in Aquarius and Leo. So we've moved out of the Pluto-Virgo paradigm, and the nodes are taking us to a sense of our own individual sovereignty within a collective where freedom, fairness, and justice and the higher mind are operational. Right, darlings, hope you found that helpful. Follow for more, and if you found it useful, you might want to share it. Take care, lovelies.